Oh boy. Alright. So the 3.6 V3 is finally here, and what the fuck is happening? Dan Heng, who before this was the coolest, most creative sustain and had a bright future as a successful neurosurgeon, is suddenly found in a London alley with
28 stab wounds. You didn't want to leave him a chance, huh? Did you feel anger? Hate? He was bleeding, begging you for mercy, but you stabbed him again and again and again. Please.
But I'm, as always, getting way ahead of myself, so let's start off with the changes itself. Starting off, his shields got butchered. I said that I was expecting nerfs, but they instead just got completely destroyed. Like, just look at the ult scalings. This not only makes attack as a stat less valuable as the individual scalings have gone down, but also significantly nerfs his synergy with Robin herself. The reason for this is that Hoyo reworked their new set, which was originally meant as a niche zero cycle setup set and got now reworked into a shield set specifically for Dan Heng. So remember when I said, relic-wise, you can go like so many different two-piece combinations, like two-piece Musketeer, two-piece Prisoner, two-piece Sacredos, and so on. Yeah, scrap that and fuck me in the ass as compensation. You now want this set, which is still not going to balance out the nerfs. There's a guy called Hyper GT450 who thankfully did the math so I didn't have to, and I would honestly feel less filthy rereading that one time I got reincarnated as my sister's anal beads than reading Dan Heng's shield math to you, but whatever. In V1, assuming 3000 attack on Dan Heng, which is incredibly easy to get, Dan Heng's skill at E0S0 would apply about 1300 HP shields. Dan Heng's maximum shield is 300% of that value, so in V1, an E0S0 Dan Heng would give your party a 3900 HP shield. This shield is now only 920 HP with a maximum amount of 2760 at E0S0. Literally 30% less. Now you might say,
well, actually, the new set got reworked and is now a shield set to compensate for the nerf.
That's a fair argument, except you're fucking wrong, because the new set, which gives 22% shield power, only increases our max shield to 3400. So you are now still looking at a 14% shield nerf, while at the same time being forced to run the new shield set while losing your Sacredos, your Hacker Space speed buff for easier speed tuning, or the attack buffs from the other two pieces. Or, in the worst case, you are now losing out on running a 161 speed win set. Oh man, am I happy that I didn't invest into the win set and start pre-building my Dan Heng. Imagine you a filthy, disgusting loser who couldn't wait until V3 and proceeded to waste 10 self-modeling resin on win set pieces to finally get that filthy 161 speed, only for it to become dog shit in V3. Oh my fucking god, I'm happy that I'm not a stinky cockroach like that. Like, can you even imagine being that guy? But we aren't even done yet. You see, due to Dan Heng's shields being pretty low now, his signature light cone value has skyrocketed, as it brings his maximum shield to now roughly 4200. Yes, you need the new set and his signature light cone to barely have stronger shields than V1 Dan Heng at E0S0 with a win set, for example. It's genuinely just a fucking massacre at this point. The shield nerfs were hard, but I still managed to hold out. What I didn't expect was Hoyo to go full mother on me and ask, what are you going to do about the second massive nerf? The Soul Dragon's enhanced attack now counts as Dan Heng's attack. This one single sentence 100% confirms that Dan Heng is now free without a doubt. To explain it plainly, the Soul Dragon counting as Dan Heng's attack now means that it does not proc anything of the bondmate, which results in literally killing off any fun, cool, or remotely interesting synergy Dan Heng had with different team comps. Why don't we go a painful trip down to memory lane and go through all the removed interactions? You can now not grant the bondmate 48% attack with the follow-up set anymore, nerfing his performance with Fei Zhao. All the synergies with break units are gone now. Since the dragon is now Dan Heng's attack instead of the bondmate's, that means it will not trigger Dan Heng's own energy trace, resulting in 10 less energy per rotation. The dragon will not implant weaknesses for Naxa anymore. The dragon will not proc Kafka's tutorial icon anymore. The dragon will not work with Jade's Debt Collector anymore. The dragon will not trigger Aglaya's E1 and E2 anymore. And the dragon will not proc Acheron's light cone anymore. It's like having fun, except I'm going to fucking Dan Heng myself. This is not a nerf. This is just literally removing anything fun about Dan Heng as a sustain and making him just another shielder. Genuinely, nerf whatever you want, go ahead and make his signature a must pull. But keep the synergies for the love of God. Why does anything remotely fun in the game have to always get fucked in the ass and corrected until it can only fit into one specific niche? Like, I literally do not get it. How is fun not allowed in my game? How does that even make sense? And before you ask, no, he did not get an energy passive. He still sucks for Finon. But hey, at least he got another nerf specifically targeted towards Finon whales, so you don't feel left out. Remember Dan Heng Z4 giving 12% def ignore, which, if you invested hard enough, would get you to exactly 100% def ignore for Finon? Yeah, they moved that Eidolon to his E6 now, meaning that you have to go all the way up to E6 for Dan Heng if you want to get that 100% def ignore. His traces are still useless and don't make sense. So, did anything even get buffed at all? Yeah, his E1 to 18% res pen. Yay. Oh, and his E2 now doubles his shields. Nice, guys. Keep spending, guys. Please keep spending and supporting our small indie company. Dawai's newest yacht has only 2 jacuzzis. You have to keep spending. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm just so sorry. But this entire V3 is just vomit inducing. It's so disgusting. I feel so filthy reading this shit. Syringa was a worthless shit stain from the very beginning. It's like having your child get born without arms, legs, functioning organs, and you end up finding out that they are a Mega Knight main as well, just to add extra salt to the injury. Your expectations for them are naturally going to be lower. But you know what actually feels worse? Having your genius child, who you know is destined to become the next Messi, lose both his legs in a car accident and spending the entire rest of your life contemplating on what could have been if that driver did not play Candy Crush Saga on his phone while driving on that fateful night. Syringa was never high enough to really fall, but Dan Heng has tasted heaven itself, only to burn and crash down onto the earth, losing everything in the process. It is genuinely just depressing. And with how good and especially fun of a character V1 Dan Heng was, this might be the worst V3 I ever had to witness, other than the Zhao Cho V3, of course. So, what do I want to see in V4? At this point, anything. But please, give me back the synergies. I beg you, Hoyo. Just tell me if you need a blood sacrifice and I will do it. It can only get better from this point on. Like, we genuinely lost everything. Surely will V4 be better, right? Tell me your opinions and thoughts on Dan Heng's V3, and consider subscribing, as it not only helps the channel, but also my mental health immensely. And I will hopefully see you in the next one with some good news.